Coming up on UCF Nightly News.
Learn how UCF ranks as one of the top schools in the nation for online programs.
Find out how an organization is teaching students how to reduce food waste and live sustainably.
Plus, learn the latest details in the efforts to pass the Mia Marcano law.
And in sports, find out which former Knight set an NFL record this past weekend.
Nightly News starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to UCF Nightly News. I'm Kristen McKay.
And I'm Skyler Shepard. Today is Friday, January 28th, 2022.
In light of a cold front hitting the Sunshine State, a student organization is stepping up to help the homeless stay warm. The club held its first donation drive this week. Nightly News reporter Taysia tells us more about how UCF students contributed to the cause.
The Puerto Rican Student Association partnered up with other Latinx clubs at UCF to host its first clothing drive. Throughout the week, they collected winter items like jackets, gloves, and blankets at the Puerto Rico Research Hub. Members of the PRSA say helping their community is very important back in Puerto Rico, and they decided to bring that tradition to campus.
I think it's even harder during this time that it's so cold, and I wanted to make a change about it. I wanted to help them in any sort of way that we could. So I decided to do the donation drive.
About 3,000 people are experiencing homelessness in the Orlando area, according to the Coalition for the Homeless. The Puerto Rican Student Association collected warm clothes this week to help them get through the colder weather. The secretary for the PRSA says there's definitely a need for help during the winter months.
I personally haven't lived homeless, but I know people that have, and I've always wanted to help. I've always tried to do the best I could for people.
Reyes Cuadrado says they will distribute the clothes at different locations around campus, like Orlando Central and the OBT area. In Orlando, Taysia, UCF Nightly News.
If you missed the donation drive, don't worry. You can still volunteer with the organization. For more information, you can visit their Instagram at UCFPRSA.
UCF announced its partnership with the optics company Ficon Tech this week. The German-based company is opening a lab in UCF's College of Optics and Photonics building. Ficon Tech is a leader in international optics. Students will be able to access the lab for tests and experiments.
Wellness and Health Promotion Services whipped up their first kitchen demonstration of the semester. Fresh U teaches students how to incorporate fruits and vegetables into their diets and reduce food waste. These events are part of an initiative to provide students with healthy substitutes they can learn to make themselves. Part of Fresh U's service include Fresh U to Go, an on-campus pantry stocked with healthy treats that Knights can take with them free of charge. Fresh U to Go is open to all students 3 days a week on the first floor of the RWC.
In the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, hospitals around the country are experiencing a shortage of nurses. According to the University of St. Augustine for Health Sciences, the shortage will continue through 2030. Nightly News reporter Kristen McKay gives you the latest on how this impacts nursing students.
The University of St. Augustine for Health Sciences project that 1.2 million registered RNs will be needed by 2030. With an insufficient staff, nurses are becoming overwhelmed, leading to burnout. Some experienced nurses say they carry the burden of tending to patients while teaching the younger staff. Registered emergency room RN Stacey Sweeney says the more seasoned nurses are preparing the incoming nurses on how to better serve their community.
Trying to help them learn our community so that we are best approaching the needs of our community.
According to UCF student enrollment, the number of undergraduate students with a nursing RN major in fall 2021 was 1,016 students, a 79 difference from fall 2020. RN nurse Sweeney says as more patients fill up beds, the ratio of staff to patients has decreased, putting more stress on the nurses. As the pandemic rages on and the need for nurses grows, UCF student Abigayle Caballero says her passion to help others outweighs COVID-19.
I really enjoy helping people, and especially when they can't really help themselves, like that there's someone else there to help them.
BSN Gail Morris from the Nurse Journal says one positive of having a nurse shortage is that nursing students can find jobs quickly after graduation. In Orlando, Kristen, McKay, UCF Knightly News.
The Department of Health Services estimates that there are at least 7 states with more severe nursing shortages, including California, New Jersey, South Carolina, Alaska, and Texas.
For the first time ever, U.S. News & World Report awards UCF as number 7 in the country for best online schools. The university sits at the top of the list for best online bachelor's programs, offering over 100 online curriculums. In fall of 2021, 83% of all UCF students took one online class or blended course mode. UCF has more than 6,000 fully online students.
Florida state legislators are discussing a new legislation that will make apartments safer. The law known as Mia's Law is named after Mia Marcano, a 19-year-old Valencia student who was killed near UCF. Nightly News reporter Madison Monroe Adams tells us how this law can benefit residents.
Law enforcement says a maintenance worker abducted and killed Mia Marcano after using a key fob to enter her apartment at Arden Villas. The Marcano family has created the Mia Marcano Foundation, a group designed to help families of missing persons. And now they're pushing for legislation to make sure this never happens again. Florida Senator Linda Stewart has drafted a bill known as Mia's Law.
This is for apartment safety, period.
In the beginning, the bill included mandatory national background checks for staff, while also requiring apartments to use key logs. But the House committee has stripped the bill, making a watered-down version that only requires staff to give 24 hours notice before entering apartments. Senator Stewart says all elements need to be included in this bill.
We need emails to go out to the committee members on the House side to ask them to come as close to the Senate bill as they possibly can.
Stewart says the bill would keep over 2.8 million Florida tenants safe, and one of them is Paige Bridges, who lives at Arden Villas.
I don't believe maintenance workers should be allowed any access to any apartment units, and master keys should have never been a thing. It makes me and other people feel very, very uncomfortable and very unsafe living here at Arden Villas, especially with what happened.
Stewart says the bill will go through the Senate and House committees 2 more times. In Orlando, Madison Monroe Adams, UCF Nightly News.
The House and Senate will vote on the floor after the committee meetings end. Then it will go up to the governor to sign the bill into law. Nightly News will keep you updated.
It's safe to say a lot of gyms are crowded in January because of New Year's resolutions. UCF's Recreation and Wellness Center is no different. Marketing and Communications Manager, a daily average of 2,500 students go to UCF's gym between Monday and Thursday. Elementary education major Taysia Gendler says she prefers to pay for membership at another gym. She says she knows others who feel the same, even though an RWC membership is included in tuition.
I definitely know more people who go to other gyms than go to the RWC. I actually know very few people who go to the RWC.
According to the RWC's Marketing and Communications Manager, the highest number of people in UCF's gym is over 3,000 a day. Gendler says she thinks there might be less people coming to UCF's gym once January ends. Nightly News will keep you updated on the RWC's numbers. Speaking of fitness, I'm thinking about going on a light jog around campus later. Kasyn, what's our weather looking like?
Well, Kristen, it's going to continue to be a muggy day. Tonight, the low will be 37 degrees with the wind chill going as low as 30. So you might want to postpone that run. Everything should clear up tomorrow. There's no expected rain, but it'll be the coldest day of the week. The wind chill will be a brisk 29 degrees early morning tomorrow. By the afternoon, the high will be around 49 degrees heading into next week. It's expected to remain cold and clear until Tuesday, but it'll heat up again. So we'll get a break from the jackets for a bit. Skyler and Kristen, back to you.
Thanks for that update, Kasyn. After the break, learn how unicycling has brought a group of students together.
Plus, I'll show you how artists and athletes came together to showcase their talents.
And see how one club is providing a safe space for students to express themselves. January is National Hobby Month. UCF's Anime Club is celebrating by creating a safe space for all cosplayers. Nightly News reporter Kasyn shares more insight about the unique hobby.
Part of the Anime Spot Club is celebrating by making cosplay a safe place for all. Richard Brauckmuller is a digital media and game design major. He says those joining the club don't need to worry about being turned away.
That they shouldn't really be afraid of judging people, because honestly, we're a judge-free environment. We don't really judge anybody at all.
The organization hosts beginner workshops that teach skills like sewing and prop building. The club goes to semesterly anime conventions together and hosts Day of Cosplay, which will be in November.
Students in the Anime Club are striving to show that cosplay is an inclusive community.
Cosplay Night's director, Miranda Attales, started cosplaying when she was 16. She cosplays to escape normal life and believes anyone can cosplay.
Cosplay is for everyone, and Cosplay Nights is for everyone. You don't have to be really into it. You don't have to be super experienced. Everyone is welcome here.
The club has a free stock of supplies. Members can get sewing materials and patterns for their cosplays by using checkout cards. Their next workshop will be Wednesday, February 2nd in the Visual Arts Building. In Orlando, Kasyn, UCF Knightly News.
Cosplay Nights are meeting up again on Wednesday to learn tips and tricks for making crafty costumes. For more information on how to get involved with UCF's Cosplay Nights, visit their Instagram at AnimeSpotUCF.
While the UCF women's basketball team took to the court to show off their skills, another team showcased their skills in the student section. The UCF Art Club was given the opportunity to exhibit their work in Edition Arena, and artists were pushed to interact with a different fan base, basketball fans. Club President Justin Reeves says this is a new experience for the members.
The main selling point for us was that it was a demographic of people that probably would have never delved into the arts that our club provides.
The UCF Art Club sells its members' artwork every other Wednesday outside of the Visual Arts Building. To stay updated on the club's plans, follow their socials at artclub_UCF.
Stay tuned after the break for your latest weather forecast.
Also, find out how one team is revving up their engines for the new semester.
Plus, learn how one group of students pedal their way around campus. A new club at UCF gives unicyclists a sense of community. A UCF student formed the Unicycle Club this past November through social media. Members come together to ride unicycles on campus and share their knowledge about different tricks. Regardless of skill level, anyone is welcome at their meetings. No bike needed. The club's president, Lance LeBon, says anyone who can ride a bike can learn how to unicycle. For more information on how you can spin around with the Unicycle Club, go to ucf.campuslabs.com.
The UCF Engineering Motorsports team is racing back into the semester with their new member events. Nightly News reporter Brittany Caldwell tells us more about how the Society of Automotive Engineers inspires students beyond the classroom.
The Baja and Formula teams showed off their skills to students at their new member night event this past week. Baja team lead Jack Carter says this was a way for people to get to know Knights racing after attendance decreased.
It's very difficult to do what we call Zoom Baja, where we're having meetings on Zoom, but everyone's here for the hands-on experience of what we can actually learn by touching the car, by working with our hands, something not taught in the classrooms.
Carter says he's proud of how the club has adapted to COVID. Design meetings are through Zoom, and building cars is done face-to-face. The Knights racing team is dedicated to designing, creating, and building the best cars while educating students along the way. Senior aerospace engineering major Ali Mosa is the team lead for the Formula team. He says his position in the club has connected him with like-minded people, especially new members.
I've been interacting with them, trying to, again, get them integrated into the club, feel at home, and then teach them as much as I can.
Mosa says that working on projects with other engineers has increased his passion for cars and changed the way he views himself. He hopes to stay in contact with Knights Racing as an alumni. In Orlando, Brittany Caldwell, UCF Nightly News.
The engineers will test drive and build cars throughout the semester. For more information on Knights Racing, visit their Instagram pages at UCF Formula and UCF Baja.
They definitely seem fast and furious, but so does this cold front. Kasyn, what's going on with the weather?
Well, Kristen, let's look at today's highs. In Tallahassee, 61, Jacksonville, 54, Tampa, 68, and in Orlando, 66, so make sure you bundle up, Knights. And in Miami, it's 75. Let's look at the lows. In Tallahassee, 30, Jacksonville, 33, Tampa, 43, Orlando, 36, and Miami, 49. Let's look at the rain percentages. In Tallahassee and Miami, it's 0. In Tampa and Orlando, it's 20. And in Jacksonville, 30. Now let's look at our weekly weather forecast. On Saturday, the high is 49 with a low of 29. On Sunday, a high of 54 and a low of 34. On Monday, a high of 65 and a low of 44. It's starting to warm up Tuesday with a high of 71 and a low of 55. And a nice and warm 76 on Wednesday with a low of 60 and a 20% chance of rain. Back to you, ladies.
Thanks, Kasyn. When we come back, we'll check in on how our Lady Knights performed at Wednesday night's basketball game.
Plus, learn which former UCF Knight broke an NFL record, scoring 4 touchdowns in a playoff game.
Good afternoon, Knight Nation. I'm Andrew Carson, and this is your UCF Sports Update. The UCF men's basketball team fell short against the Wichita State Shockers, 84-79 on Wednesday night. The Knights came back in the second quarter, clearing up a 16-point deficit. Wichita State held on strong, ending the first half with a score of 47-44. Brandon Mahan heated up to the tune of 16 points in the second half, but unfortunately it wasn't enough for a win, leaving the Knights' record against Wichita State 0-8. The Knights are back home on Saturday to take on the Houston Cougars at 8 p.m. UCF alumnus Gabe Davis set an NFL playoff record in Sunday's divisional round matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. Davis became the first player in NFL history to score 4 receiving touchdowns in a playoff game. Even though Davis and the Buffalo Bills came up short, losing 42-36, the second-year pro caught a total of 8 passes for 201 receiving yards. Davis talked post-game about his history-making performance.
Again, I talk about this all the time, but you know, when your number is called, you have to make the play, and I knew that it was going to be a night like that tonight.
Davis graduated from UCF in 2019. He scored 23 touchdowns for the Knights, the second most in school history. He also ranks in the UCF's top 10 for career receptions and receiving yards. In his first 2 years in the NFL, Davis has caught 18 touchdowns, the most of any player from the 2020 draft class. Davis is also tied for the 9th most touchdown catches of any player during that span. The UCF women's basketball team returned to the Addition Financial Arena on Wednesday night. The Knights picked up their second win against the Tulane Green Wave this season. I will tell you more about this matchup. The women's basketball team is celebrating after narrowly defeating the Tulane Green Wave 69-67 on Wednesday night. This marked the 5th conference win for the Knights this season. Head coach Katie Abramson-Henderson says she wants her team to focus on getting off to a faster start offensively, something the team has been working on heading into today's game. The Knights got off to a slow start, scoring only 9 points by the end of the first quarter. The team came within 7 points of the Green Wave by the end of the first half. Head coach Katie Abramson-Henderson said her team needed to play a stronger defense when their offense wasn't clicking.
Just because you don't score, you still got to get stops, right? And so that kind of was the message at all times, no matter what. If you're not making shots, and you got to go back down and play defense.
The Knights went on a 7-0 run in the fourth quarter to grab their second lead of the night since the first quarter. The Knights held off a late Tulane charge to seal the victory. Fifth-year forward Masani Kaba said her team's resilience was key.
If we want to be an NCAA team, I mean, this is going to be situations like this. You don't know when you're going to be down, you don't know when you're going to be up, but what are you going to do as a team to fight? And I think that's what we did tonight, and that's what we showed.
The Knights traveled to Kansas on Saturday to take on the Wichita State Shockers at 3 p.m. For more information on upcoming games for the 2022 spring season, visit UCF Athletics website at ucfknights.com. Well, that's all for sports. Kristen and Skyler, back to you.
Thanks for that update, Andrew. That's our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our Instagram at UCF Knightly News.
And if you have a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynews@ucf.edu. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.